Hello, this is another one of my videos on Untitled Parker's short introduction to the Second World War, this one dealing with the atomic bomb and the Japanese surrender. It's the concluding part of Chapter 14, the defeat of Japan and the atom bomb. Roosevelt died suddenly on the 12th of April 1945, catapulting his vice president, Harry S. Truman, into office as the new American president. Truman knew nothing about the bomb until he was informed when he took office. It was now his responsibility to decide what to do with the project. He received a detailed briefing from Stimson and Groves on the 25th of April 1945, agreeing both on the use of the bomb to force Japan's surrender and on the establishment of a committee to consider the problem of the post-war use and control of atomic energy. A uranium-235 bomb would be ready around the 1st of August and could be used without a prior test. A plutonium bomb would be ready for testing in July, and one should be ready for use in early August. On the 24th of July 1945, Truman told Stalin that the United States now had a weapon of great destructive power, although it is possible that Stalin already knew about it and had ordered Soviet research. The American leadership was divided in how strongly they should insist on Japan's unconditional surrender. There was no doubt that Japanese militarism had to be overturned, but could there also be some promise that an Allied occupation of the country would not remove the emperor, regarded as sacrosanct by many Japanese? Such was the view of Joseph Grew, the new acting Secretary of State and a former ambassador to Tokyo, who hoped to gain support from Japanese conservatives who wished to reverse their country's violent foreign policies and the resultant disaster for Japan. This was not to be. The fierceness of the resistance by the Japanese military made even men like Marshall opposed to any statement that would strengthen their morale. Thus, the Potsdam Declaration of the 26th of July, which threatened the Japanese with a destruction worse than that meted out to Germany, which had laid waste to their lands, industry, and way of life. Japan faced, it said, prompt and utter destruction. Naively hoping that they could get support from the Soviets, the Japanese government rejected the Potsdam Declaration until the Soviet declaration of war on Japan was made on the 8th of August, dashing all such hopes. This rejection confirmed the view in the American administration that even the more moderate Japanese government had to be shocked into surrender. The Americans were now considering where to drop their first atom bomb so that it would have the maximum impact on the Japanese government. Dropping it on an unpopulated area was regarded as being unimpressive, so that it was decided to drop it without warning on a military target in a densely populated area early in August when the weather permitted. Several possible target cities were selected, one of them being Hiroshima. Meanwhile, there would be no let-up in Allied terror bombing of Japanese towns and cities. As the skies were mainly clear on the 6th of August, the bomb was dropped then at 8:15 in the morning from a height of 32,000 feet. It exploded 45 seconds later at about 2,000 feet above the target. The Americans released a statement that utter ruination would follow if there was no surrender. Note, by the way, the chronology here. 6th of August, the atomic bombing of Hiroshima. 8th of August, the Soviet declaration of war. The 9th of August, the atomic bombing of Nagasaki. This is the bomb of mushroom cloud above Nagasaki on the 9th of August. The Japanese Supreme Council met on the 9th of August, but was divided as to how to respond to the American demands, some members wanting to reject military occupation and war crimes trials. Then came news that the second bomb at Nagasaki had been dropped, and contrary to convention, the ministers late at night asked the emperor to decide, as they were still divided. Accordingly, Hirohito read out a prepared statement that it was necessary to bear the unbearable. This was now agreed to by the full cabinet in the early hours of the morning. Cables were accordingly dispatched via neutral governments early on the 10th of August, accepting the Potsdam Declaration as long as the prerogatives of the emperor remained. Allied consultations quickly followed, their reply reaching Tokyo on the 12th of August. The Allied command would temporarily have supreme authority, but the Japanese people would eventually decide their own form of government. Japanese army leaders rejected these proposals, causing a resumption of Allied bombing, which had ceased when the Japanese acceptance had initially been received. Some officers now sought to seize power in order to rescue the emperor from treacherous councils, but they were overcome. In another massive break with tradition, the emperor broadcast to the nation on the 15th of August, asserting the theoretical power of his position to announce Japanese acceptance of the Allied demands. The surrender document was signed on the 2nd of September. World War II was finally officially over. This is a photograph of the formal signing of the Japanese surrender document on the USS Missouri on the 2nd of September. So thank you very much for listening, and particular thanks to my patrons for their kind support and encouragement, without which I wouldn't be able to make these videos. As always, you're very welcome to support my channel. Please do like, comment and share on the videos. Subscribe if you want to be notified of future videos. I'll give Patreon and PayPal links below if you want to provide practical support. Next week, another chapter from War to Peace, Anglo-American Relations. Have a good day.